dare I disclaim, before I start this video, I think it's very important to point out that I am not pointing fingers at anyone.
Ozempic has been called Hollywood's worst kept secret. And it's true, Hollywood seems to be shrinking even more than usual.
Okay, is it just me, or is your entire TikTok For You page just BBLs?
Kim Kardashian has shed some serious pounds. 5-year-old revealed on her app Monday that she's already lost 42 pounds and counting. Her goal? To lose 28 more pounds.
Today, we're going to talk about the slim thick trend in plastic surgery and why I think it may be on its way out.
I, just like many women and many girls today, have been a victim of what society deems beautiful, and I have altered myself and tweaked myself to fit into what I felt would make me more acceptable to society. And while we like to believe that we live in the most inclusive generation ever, the truth is we reward people who look societally palatable.
So today we're going to talk about Kim Kardashian's rumored butt reduction and why it may mean the end to a plastic surgery trend that's really exploded in the last few years.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Back Room here at Miza. My name is Ryan Abedi. I am the founder of Miza Medical and Wellness Spa located in Dallas, Texas. We created this back room here at the virtual Miza to discuss all things lifestyle, beauty, and dare I say socioeconomic and even political issues affecting how we as women express ourselves in today's society. If it's your first time here, please be sure to subscribe so you never miss out on any of our posts. We will continue to post everyday spa content on our YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and even TikTok if that's still around. And we will be posting these long form videos here on our YouTube channel as well that we are referring to as The Back Room. If you clicked on this video, it is because you want us to go down that rabbit hole of the BBL to Ozempic pipeline. You must have noticed it as well as I have. Now, before we get to the tea, let's talk a little bit about the fit. I am wearing a Pretty Little Thing dress that I bought in the summer of 2024. So I don't know if it's still available, but I'll find the link and I'll put it below. This is a Zara cuff. This is Cartier, and my earrings are by Fumi, the label, a Nigerian designer based in Toronto. My shoes are YSL. You can't see them, but if you want to see pictures of my full fit, my Instagram link is right here as well for you to go view it, and every single piece is tagged. Let's get right into it. Y'all are going to have to forgive me because for this one, I made notes, okay? I don't want us to miss out on any bit of this tea. The BBL to Ozempic pipeline needs to be studied. Came across a couple of tweets, or I guess X's, that were referencing this topic. The BBL to Ozempic pipeline needs to be studied, needs to be looked into. And boy, when I tell you I agreed, I very viciously agreed with those tweets. I have noticed it myself. I have almost fallen victim to it myself. I am seeing it in all of our everyday baddies, celebrities. And you know what? Let's just get started. Who here was around during the Kim Kardashian Skechers scandal?
I don't really know how to say this, other than to just say it. You're amazing. The best I've ever had. But things just aren't working out. Well, that's not completely true. I am working out. It's not someone else. It's something else. Bye-bye, trainer. Hello, shape-ups.
Who here is old enough to remember those Kim Kardashian Skechers ads that were running where Kim K was claiming that she wore those Skechers shoes to get that mighty bum bum that she had at that time? If you remember this clip, then you're definitely an OG, and you and I are probably the same age. And why are we not married? Let's answer that question next time. But this, I think, was the beginning of BBL culture. Mind you, BBLs existed prior to this scandalous ad that ended up in like a class action lawsuit against Skechers for lies told to the public. But prior to this whole drama, people have been getting BBLs. Okay, so let's just get into how does a person's body become the thing society attaches women's beauty to? How does one person's body carry that much weight? Now, while there have been so many deep dives, I'm sure, on the changes in Kim Kardashian's body, Kylie Jenner's body, dare I present a different type of celebrity to you guys. And I'm using someone that I'm personally a huge fan of and follow. I'm using Nancy Isime, and I'm also going to be using myself. Who here knows Nancy? If you know my girl, drop it in the comments, because she's probably not too famous in the West, but I definitely believe she's very, very popular amongst Africans and Africans in the diaspora. See, I don't know when I actually came across Nancy Isime for the first time, but I've always thought she's a very beautiful girl. I mean, she's 5'11", just very tall, model-esque, beautiful smile. Just, I think her energy is infectious, and she's a great actress. She has all these movies on Netflix that I have enjoyed watching. I think I've watched everything that Nancy is in or has ever put out. Like, I'm a huge fan. But I was definitely around when we saw Nancy's body go from like original to BBL. I think I was around. We all saw that shift, and people definitely made content around it. And listen, as a girl who, again, like I said, has fallen victim to what society likes, I was not mad at it. I loved it. She's in the entertainment industry, and if this is the standard and she has to meet the standard, you have to get bookings, you have to get, people looking at you, liking your stuff, sharing your content, participating in whatever you're posting or creating. You will, change a little bit to fit into whatever everybody is accepting right now. Now, I was scrolling through IG a couple weeks ago, and it was Nancy's birthday. I believe she's turning 33. Happy birthday, beautiful girl. And she had posted herself in her new house. And what struck me was how small she has gotten. Now, did she ever come out and say she got a BBL? No. Has she ever come out and say she's taking Ozempic? No. But I am here deducing, dare I say, my opinion is that there was a BBL-esque transformation, and now there's an Ozempic-esque transformation. You see, this trend is not only with Nancy. I am sure you can think of some of your favorite IG baddies, celebrities, just all around it girls who have transformed their bodies from ultra curvy to ultra skinny in the last couple years. Me personally, I was going to share my own pictures. This is what I looked like in the year 2020. I was very voluptuous. I was working very hard to keep a certain weight and certain size because I knew that would make me look curvy, make my hips look bigger, my legs and my thighs look nice and thick, and that was the look that I was going for. I felt like that was the look that got me the most looks, got me the most praise. And so I was really sticking to that. Versus this is me now. This picture is from New Year's Eve. Look at the difference between those two girls. And this transformation is within the last 4 years. So like I said, I too have fallen victim to like what is socially acceptable, but I have finally gotten to a place where I am now doing what works for my body, and we will get to that at the end of this video. Society's beauty standards, especially for women, has changed and will continue to change to the end of time. Whether we like it or not, women are rewarded in society based on how pleasing they are to the eyes, okay? Women reward women for their beauty. Men reward women for their beauty. Society rewards women for their beauty. People are given more slack based on how good they look. We have coined the term pretty privilege because we acknowledge that there is a privilege to being pretty. It exists. And so whether you like it or not, these are the facts. You don't have to like them, but these are the facts. However, there has never been such a drastic shift in acceptable bodies as far as society is concerned, as there has been in the last decade. It usually takes a few generations for a new body type to be acceptable. We can go as far back as the 1800s for Queen Victoria, okay? She was arguably the most recognizable, most famous woman in the world at her time. You have to understand, there was the saying, the sun never sets on the English Empire. That's because they had colonized everywhere from east to west. And because she was the Queen of England at the prime of the English Empire, she had pictures broadcasted all over the world. It's not like now that we have social media, everybody can snap a picture and post it and it's gone all worldwide. No. You had to have a production and literally propaganda spread with your pictures across the world. And so Queen Victoria was the most recognizable woman. As a result, her image was the image of wealth, affluence, popularity, power, you name it. She was the face and the embodiment of all of these things. As such, wealthier people in society at that time emulated that person, emulated Queen Victoria. So that chubbyish look was associated with the wealthy. Also, the food industry was not industrialized at the time. So only very wealthy people could afford the type of foods that would make a person really nice and fat and chunky. Also, if you were wealthy, you weren't out there laboring in the fields all day because that would make you like skinny, okay? So we see how in that Victorian era, having a voluptuous body was desirable because that was a signifier of wealth. And we're going to get a recurring theme because throughout this video, we're going to see that women's bodies and how they've been viewed as desirable by society are also always tied to a signifier of wealth and or influence or affluence. Now, the issue with this BBL to Ozempic pipeline is it seems to have happened so quick. It's like in the last decade almost, okay? The BBL was gaining popularity, in the 2010s? Prior to this era was the skinny, I'm talking model skinny era. The supermodels got the 90s in a chokehold and everybody had the low waist jeans and had to be bone thin. That was what was acceptable. If you can notice, within this time, food has become more and more industrialized, and now junk food is very accessible to people with little to no money. And so being skinny and fit or small was viewed as what only wealthy people could do, because not only wealthy people had access to healthier foods, diet plans, workout plans, trainers, whatever. And well, we can even think of Kate Moss and how she was, I guess, given the nickname Cocaine Kate in her days, okay? A drug in itself that was only available to the really wealthy. It was not a cheap drug. It is not a cheap drug, okay? In the 90s, the super skinny girls are winning, okay? That is the sign of, that is what is acceptable as sexy, acceptable by society, and viewed as this woman is wealthy, okay? This woman has got money, okay? And then now we're entering like 2008, 2009, 2010 era, and there comes the Kardashians, okay? And now I'm not assigning all BBL culture to them, but we have to understand that the most famous women in any era kind of dictate the beauty standards of that era. We have talked about how Queen Victoria kind of dictated the beauty standards in her time. Then it would be false for us to not admit the influence that these women have on the beauty standards during their most popular era. How is the BBL tied to wealth, you might be asking? Well, back in the 2010 times when these girls were first coming up in the late 2000s and early 20 teens, the average BBL cost between $16,000 to $20,000. $16,000 to $20,000 is not something a lot of people could afford, especially coming out of that 2008 recession and crisis that America was rocked with and the whole world just kind of felt the shockwave effect of. If you're a wealthy, powerful person in this time, you can afford these bodily altering surgeries. And so that is a sign of your own wealth. And mind you, at the time, we didn't even know, a lot of us didn't even know that this is what these women were doing. Hence the whole Skechers and Kim Kardashian incident. Nobody was fessing up to their surgical work that they have gotten done to their body. And so Kim, along with Skechers, could claim that it was walking on those Skechers shoes that got her that amazing backside. And that if you wanted that amazing backside, you simply had to purchase and walk on these shoes every day. Obviously, this all starts to fall apart the more prevalent social media gets. Because now with social media, we are seeing more and more girls getting this body that was once exclusive to celebrities like Nicki Minaj and Kim Kardashian. We're seeing everyday girls getting this body. And the procedure itself is being more and more talked about as we now have surgeons like Dr. Miami popularizing their surgical practice using social media just like everybody else. This was the first time in modern history that doctors, plastic surgeons were now a day-to-day part of social media. And if you remember Dr. Miami that time on Snapchat, he was everywhere. He was posting his surgeries. He was on yachts. He was with celebrities. He popularized his work and more doctors followed suit. Dare I say, even my presence on social media with my work is something that started with surgeons like Dr. Miami coming out and being more vocal about some of the work that people are doing and people have been doing in the shadows. Prior to him, plastic surgeons were kind of a reserved, almost quiet in the background field. They don't talk about their clients. They don't talk about their procedures. They don't talk about anything. If you know them, you know them. You hear from your neighbor who got her nose job. You hear from your best friend who got her boob job. In your mom group, you guys have a surgeon you all go to for your lipo. The surgeons were not advertising themselves on social media. So in the 20 teens is when these surgeons boomed on social media, and more people, more and more everyday women had access to these surgeons who could make these major transformations in their bodies, most especially the BBL. Along with the surgeon's presence on social media came surgical tourism, where more and more people who could not afford to get these procedures in their own countries, be it in America, in London, in Paris, France, in Australia, they could now fly to countries where their dollar had more strength, and then they would pay less for the same procedure. So instead of getting a BBL for $20,000 in LA, you could fly to Colombia or to the Dominican Republic and pay anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000 for the same procedure. So you can see how the BBL has become more accessible over time as we're entering the late 20 teens, right? So by 2016, 17, 18, all the baddies, all the Instagram baddies, and everyday women were getting BBL. Security guards, nurses, teachers, you name it, waitresses, everyday girls were popping up with these super voluminous curves that were once reserved to ultra celebrities like Nicki Minaj and the Kim K's. And so what do we now start to observe? Nicki Minaj and the Kims and the Kardashians of the world are dropping weight like flies. I mean, the girls are vanishing right before our eyes. The big, voluminous behinds are going away, and we're like, what is going on? Whether we like it or not, we are seeing these voluminous bodies going away. And the question is, what's going on? And if you ask me, I will say this. What is the most acceptable aesthetic right now? The clean girl, polished aesthetic. And now I'm going to ask you this, and I want you to picture it with your mind's eye and drop a comment below. When I say the words, a clean, polished, put together woman, what is the image that comes to your mind's eye? Again, I say the words, a clean, polished, put together woman. What is the image? What kind of woman are you picturing with your mind's eye? Because I'm sure she looked something like this. And mind you, this is an AI generated image. This is an AI generated image. And AI, artificial intelligence, pulls its information from what we as humans have splattered over the internet for years and years. Okay? So this is what AI believes is a clean, polished, put together woman. And I'm sure most of us had pictured something similar to this. This is because, for better or worse, society has never really considered fat, thick, curvy women to be the clean, polished, acceptable look for a woman. And when I say society, I'm obviously very specifically talking about Western society, the one in which I live, has never really considered a chubby fat woman to be clean, polished, and well put together. There are so many curvier creators who would say that they had to, or have to put on more makeup, put on more perfume, put more effort into their outfits when they're stepping outside. They can't just step outside to the grocery store with like sweatpants and a t-shirt because they know people are judging them. People already think of them as sloppy and dirty simply because they are fat. People think of them as poor simply because they are fat or overweight. And so they have to put in all of this extra effort to make themselves look more presentable, whereas their skinnier counterparts can just hop out with a messy bun and a t-shirt and people still think she's absolutely gorgeous, assume she has a lot of money, assume she could put herself together if she wanted to, but she's just having a relaxed day. This is how society views chubby, curvier women, the Western society anyways. The curvier body is seen as vulgar and overly sexualized, and the skinnier body is seen as acceptable, palatable form of womanhood. Now, I guess obviously tying back to wealth, right? With the accessibility of the BBL, it's no longer the thing to do if you're that girl with a little bit of money and you want to stand out. Now, to stand out, we've gone back to losing weight, right? Who has access to funds to pay for that Ozempic because it's not going to be covered by your insurance if you're not pre-diabetic or diabetic? Who has funds now to pay for Pilates classes? Who has funds to pay for gold jewelry and all of these standout pieces? Who has funds to put together that clean, polished girl look? That is the new aesthetic that has taken a wave. And we are seeing the acceptable body types changing really quickly. Before, it would take like 2 or 3 generations for the acceptable body type to change. And now it is changing literally every 5 years because we are over consuming different bodies, different looks, different things on social media platforms, and different things, different aesthetics are becoming the norm or becoming the hype every single year or so. Now, I'll say for me personally, I just had to get to the point where I was going to do what works for my body. I am the lead injector and the founder of Miza Medical and Wellness Spa. And as you can imagine, I spend most hours of the day walking around in a 2,500 square foot facility servicing our patients and clients. And I do this like 6 out of 7 days a week. I am always on my feet, and it was starting to take a toll on literally my joints. And I know I hate when I go to a doctor and they're like, maybe try to lose some weight. But the truth is, I really had to try to lose some weight. I was about 190 pounds in this picture, and I am now 145 pounds. That is a 45-pound weight loss. And I can tell you, I am feeling the difference in my body. My energy levels are higher. I'm not having all of those mouth aches and pains anymore. And I'm more objective now about how I feed my body and how I treat my body. I'm definitely okay with not looking as curvy as I once looked. I'm okay with not fitting into or being as attractive as I thought I was then. I'm okay with whatever my body is now because it feels good. It may not look as good as, I know I look when I'm super curvy, but I feel so much better. So I guess as we are going to go through various pipelines, okay, this is not going to be the end. There will be another trend. There will be God knows what next, right? And believe it or not, there is now such a thing as facial BBLs, which we will be tackling in the next video. So if you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe, turn on your notifications because the facial BBLs will blow your mind. But there will be more trends. What I want you to pay attention to is what feels good to you. What body are you comfortable in? What body do you feel happy in? What body do you feel secure in? What adjustments do you think you need to make to your body to get to where you feel your best? You have to answer these questions once again honestly and objectively. You have to try as hard as you can to disregard whatever everybody else is doing and pay attention to what your body is doing. Definitely let me know in the comments like what you guys think about this pipeline, why you guys think this is happening, why you guys think this major shift in acceptable bodies is happening. Thank you again for joining us in the back room. I'm Ryan, once again, the founder of Miza Medical and Wellness Spa located in Dallas, Texas. This has been the BBL to Ozempic pipeline. Our next video will be the facial BBLs. And yes, you want to tune in for that because I'm telling you that topic, ooh. In the meantime, if this is your first time seeing me, please subscribe, tap that like button, hit it. Drop comments, okay? Because I'm going to be in the comment section responding and interacting. And if you have any videos, ideas that you would like for me to make, any pipelines, any deep dives you want me to, rabbit hole into and present to y'all, definitely drop it down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on today's video, and I will see you guys next time. If you're not following us, all of the links on all of our different social media outlets are right in the description box. See you next time, and thank you for watching.